So now let's look at 14.3. 14.3. And here what we want to do is add the pronominal suffixes to the feminine singular nouns. Okay, so the nouns are feminine singular. And since they're singular, which set are we using here? We're using set 1, the E-harmony pronouns. Now, there are 3 sample words that are provided by Ross here for us. And we want to just take a look at each one because of some peculiar characteristics that each have as we add these pronominal suffixes. Remember, we talked about how when we add pronominal suffixes to nouns, we are going to change endings if they are changeable. And then we're going to have vowel changes because of shifting stress and the addition of extra syllables on the back part of the noun. So let's take a word like Torah, which you have learned in the past, I believe, as the word for instruction, and sometimes it's translated as law. And notice that this ends with a kametz hey ending. Now, as I mentioned before, the addition of a pronominal suffix on the end of a word is basically going to be like adding another noun after a first noun and creating a construct chain. So for all intents and purposes, Torah needs to become a construct form, and then we can add the pronominal suffix to the end of it. But as you recall, kametz hey, that hey in the kametz hey is not a real hey. It's a fake, phony mater hey. And so I can't add a pronominal suffix to a hey that doesn't really exist. So what am I going to do? I'm going to turn this into the construct form of Torah. And if you remember when we were looking at Ross chapter 12, we formed the construct by changing kametz hey to pathak tav, Torat. So to say the law of Moses, Torat Moshe, right? Now, it's to this that I can add my set 1 pronoun. So if I want to say his instruction, his law, it's going to be Torat to. The 3ms pronoun is the Holam Vav. I can add that to a tav. I can't add it to a mater hey. Now, where is the stress going to be? Torato. The accent is on to. That's the tonic syllable. And because that's tonic, notice I have an open and pre-tonic syllable here. What is going to have to be the case? I've changed my ending here. I've added the pronominal suffix. Now I have some vowel changes that can happen. Old preacher sermons are long is the rule. Open pre-tonic syllables require a long vowel. The pathak of pathak tav is short a, and because it's now open and pre-tonic, it's got to become the long a. And so the last vowel, this is open and proper-tonic, it would normally want to reduce to a vocal shava, but Holam Vav is historically long, and historically long vowels are, you guessed it, unchangeably long. So Torato is his instruction. Okay? If I want to say her instruction, I'm going to do the same thing. Torah becomes Torat. I add the kametz hey for her to the tav, and then because the accent is on ta, this is open and pre-tonic, it's got to follow that rule. And so it becomes a kametz. So Torato, Torata, his instruction, her instruction, and so forth and so on. If you look at Ross page 114, you will see the form. If you go to the plural suffixes, the plural pronominal suffixes on page 115, we can just take a look at the second masculine plural form. If we want to say your, and we're speaking to a group of you masculine, what would that look like? It would be to-ra becomes to-rat, and then I add kem, right? That's the second masculine plural pronoun, to-rat-chem. And here I'm going to put a silent shava, and because I'm not adding a vowel, right? Holam Vav is a vowel I'm adding to the tav. Kametz hey is a vowel I'm adding to the tav. Here I'm adding a consonantal ending here, kem. And so this is going to be closed and unaccented because my stress is over here. And so this is going to stay short, right? We went long here because of old preacher sermons are long, but the cuss rule applies here because this is not open and pre-tonic, it's closed and pre-tonic, and if it's pre-tonic, it's unaccented, so it's got to follow the cuss rule. Closed unaccented syllables require a short vowel. Okay, so Toratchem is y'all's Torah, y'all's instruction. All right, so real quickly, safa is the word for lip. Okay, lip, and it is feminine singular, ends with a comma te. In order to say his lip and her lip, I cannot add his and her as pronominal suffixes to a mater he. So what has to happen to safa? It's got to undergo a change of ending, and it's going to be safat, and then I can add the holem vav for the 3ms pronoun. His lip. He busted his lip. Safato. Now the accent is going to be over here on the end, and after we've changed our ending and added the pronominal suffix, the next thing that can happen is vowel changes. Will I have vowel changes? Yes, the accent is on the end. That's the tonic syllable to. So fa is open and pretonic. Got to follow the OPSRL rule. Open pretonic syllables require a long vowel, so that'll go long. And then this is open and propertonic. And since it's not historically long vowel like this one is, it can change. And what do we know about open and propertonic syllables? They like to reduce to a vocal shava if they are changeable vowels. And sure enough, that is what's going to happen here. So safato becomes safato. Safato. His lip. Okay? Her lip. Safa becomes safat. Ta. Comma te with the mapit because that's a rohe on the 3fs pronoun. And I've got to have that long A because it's open pretonic, and the A reduced to a vocal shava here because it's open and propertonic. So safa, a lip, safatho, his lip, safatha, her lip. Okay? Now, if we want to talk about y'all's lip and speak of you masculine plural, you all have one collective lip, what would happen? Sa, fa becomes safat. Oops, sorry, that's going to be a pathaktav, right? And then we add the chem over here. And because this is closed, I get a silent shava, safat chem. Because this is closed and unaccented, because the stress is on chem, I don't need to lengthen it like I did over here. Okay? But this is still open and propertonic, so it's got to reduce to a vocal shava. All right, so sifat chem, y'all's one lip. Y'all have one lip, sifat chem. Okay, the last word is tzedakah. Tzedakah. And tzedakah is one of the words for righteousness in Hebrew. Tzedakah. And notice it's got a feminine singular comma te ending. If I want to say his righteousness, what has to happen to the comma te? Exactly, it's got to become pathaktav, and then I can add my pronominal suffix. His righteousness, because this is tonic here, this is open and pretonic, it has to go what? It's got to go long. Old preacher sermons are long. Open pretonic syllables require a long vowel. This has to become what? It's open and propertonic. It's got to reduce to vocal shava. And now I've got a problem here, don't I? I have a vocal shava under the dalet, and I have a vocal shava under the sadi. And you know what happens here? This is my classic Red Rider situation, and so I'm going to have to shoot out an I. The second vocal shava shoots out the I of the first one, and I get tzid katho. Tzid katho. So that is how to say his righteousness. Her righteousness, tzid kathah, with the comma te. Y'all's righteousness, adding chem, tzid kat chem. So you're going to see these not only vowel reductions, but Red Rider issues can get involved as well. Okay, so this is really just the application of principles and sound change patterns that you already know. We're just applying them in new situations here. Now, let's take a look at ROS 14.4. 14.4. Here, in 14.4, we are going to want to add pronominal suffixes to masculine plural nouns. Okay? Now, if the nouns are plural, masculine plural, which set are we using? We are using set number 2. These are the community pronouns, the pronouns that attach to plural groups, right? They are looking for community. They're looking for plurals to attach to. Now, with our pronominal suffixes that add to plural nouns, the set to pronouns, there is this distinctive yod that we saw on the handouts that we looked at earlier in the lecture. Let's take a look at the masculine plural noun sus. If I make that plural, it becomes susim. Okay? Now, remember, when we want to add pronominal suffixes to susim, or to any noun, it's basically the case that we're putting the noun in the construct state and then adding the pronoun as the absolute form. So if I wanted to say not just horses, but the horses of Moses, what would I get? Remember, im becomes a. Okay, susei, the horses of Moses, Moshe. Now, I can see here that I'm getting shortening here in the sense that my my im ending has dropped the im and I've added the a there, and that's a shorter syllable. And when we add pronominal suffixes to susim, we're basically going to see the im chopped. There's going to be a long vowel, a historically long vowel with a mater, with a yod here, and then the pronominal suffix will be attached. Sometimes you will see sere yod, but sometimes you will see other vowels with a yod. All right, it won't necessarily be sere yod. But you're going to see the remnants of that construct of masculine plural form. And so to say his horses, it's not going to be susim plus the holem vav. It's going to be susav. Susav. And we do pronounce that susav. You do not pronounce the yod. The yod is silent here on this form. What is the 3ms pronoun? It's this part here. This is the 3ms pronoun. That vav. Okay? So that's 3ms. The yod here is indicative of really the remnant of the sere yod, but here it's kametz yod. And that means the horses of the 3ms pronoun vav, the horses of him. So his plural horses. Okay? Now, if I want to say her horses, what's it look like? It's su, say, ha. So my pronoun here for 3fs is the ha ending, and then I have segel yod here, suseha, and the accent is on the samic, suseha. This yod tells me it's plural, horses, male horses. Ha tells me whose male horses, hers, 3fs. Okay? So this is what we're going to see. You're not going to see the im. You're going to see vowel, yod, and then the pronoun after that yod. That yod is marking plurality. If I want to say my horses, what do I get here? I get sus, I. So the 1cs pronoun is just this yod, but I have a pathak yod. Su, sai. Su, sai. Now, my one horse is su, si. So the 1cs pronoun is the yod in both cases. My horses, susai. This is my horse, susi. What's the difference between these two? The difference is the vowel that comes before the yod here. If the vowel before the yod is Keurig, if the vowel before the yod is a single dot, then the noun is singular. Okay? That's going to be our memory device here. If I have a single dot before the yod, a Keurig, then the noun is singular. Any other vowel before a yod with a pronominal suffix is going to be a plural noun. Notice, these have yods. This one has a yod. But the vowels before these yods are not Keurig. They're everything but Keurig, aren't they? and so the nouns are plural. But a Keurig before a yod means it's singular. So that's going to be something very important for you to keep your eye on, especially when we get to chapter 15. Okay, so let's take one more look at one more pronoun here. You're going to see the whole list in your Ross textbook. But if I want to say their horses, and we're talking about masculine plural they, it's going to look like this. Su, say, hem. So here is hem. Remember, chem with a kaf is you masculine plural. Hem with a hey is they masculine plural. So that's the 3MP pronominal suffix. Su, say, hem. Here we actually do see the sereyot of the construct. The horses of them, which is to say their horses. All right. So those are the forms. Now the other word that Ross gives you in this little section is the word davar. And of course, we're dealing with the masculine plural form of davar. So what's that going to look like? It's devarim. Okay? Devarim. If we want to make this masculine plural noun suffixed with a pronoun, what's it going to look like? Well, the first form here for his words is devarav. Okay, so we see the same form as we had seen with susav, devarav. The im is gone, kametz yod, and then the vav for 3ms. The words of him, his words. If I want to say her words, devareha. Okay, the accent is on the last consonant before the endings here, devareha. So notice I have the segol yod as I had with suseha. The yod's telling me this is a plural form of devarim, of devar, so the words of her words. And notice that this is where the stress is, the tone. So this is open and pretonic, and that's why I have a long A vowel, because open pretonic syllables require a long vowel. And this would have been open and propertonic, and it's had to reduce the vocal shava. So it's already reduced in the plural form, so I don't have to reduce it further. It's already there. Okay? Now, let's take a look at what happens when I want to add the third masculine plural pronoun. I get de, va, and then I'm going to have a hem, right? Devarehem. Their, masculine plural, words. The words of them. Where's my stress? The tone is way over here on the end. This is, remember, a heavy ending. Consonant, vowel, consonant. It's going to pull the stress all the way to the back. I have re, which is open and pretonic. That's got to be long, and it's already long due to the sereyot here. But this is now open and propertonic. What will that kametz do in an open and propertonic situation? It will reduce to a vocal shava. And now I have this Red Rider problem where I've got two vocal shavas at the beginning of a word. They cannot coexist. They like to fight. And when they do, the second vocal shava will shoot out the I of the first, and I get div, re, hem. Div, re, hem. So this is the way to say their words, or the words of them. Okay? So those are the masculine plural nouns. And that's the kind of vowel changing you might see. Now, the final section of Ross that deals with forming nouns with pronominal suffixes is 14.5. There is one additional note in the chapter, but in terms of formation, 14.5 is the last one. Here we're dealing with feminine plural nouns and adding pronominal suffixes to those types of nouns. Now, when the noun is plural, which set am I going to be adding? Which set of pronouns? Again, it's going to be set to the community pronouns, because we're adding the pronouns that attach to plural nouns here. Now, in the prior section, the only thing that could tell us that our noun was a masculine plural noun was just the presence of that yod. We couldn't really see anything else to determine that it was actually masculine. When it had a sereyot, then it before the pronoun, like in susehem here, then that does look more like the masculine plural construct. What about feminine plural nouns? Well, let's take the word susa, which is mare, a female horse. What is the feminine plural form of susa? Well, it is susot. Okay, remember that? Susa becomes susot. So this is mares. Now, we're basically, or in effect, putting the noun in the construct in order to add pronominal suffixes to the end. What did we learn about feminine plural nouns when we put them in the construct? Well, they end with ot in both the absolute and the construct. So that is to say, they do not change their endings. But what is really interesting about feminine plural nouns before we add pronominal suffixes is that after the tav of ot, we get the internal vowel pointing that we saw with the masculine plural nouns, especially where that yod was, and then we add the pronominal suffixes after. So susot is mares, feminine plural, and to say his mares, I'm going to see the kametz yod followed by the vav of the 3ms pronoun. So that's his mares. Okay? So let's contrast that to the feminine form. Susa becomes susat, and then I add the hol and vav to that, and I get the lengthening and open pretonic position. Susato, his one mare. Susotav, his plural mares. You can tell the difference, right? There's actually two things, and this is really wonderful. There's two things about feminine plural nouns with pronominal suffixes that will help you know that the noun is plural. If it's one of those feminine plural nouns whose ending is with ot, that will be one marker of plurality, and then this yod before the pronoun will be a second marker of plurality. So you will often get two chances to see that your noun is plural. Let's take a look at a couple more examples here. Let's take susot, and let's add the third feminine singular pronoun, her mares, and it's susot. And I want to add the right vowel pointing here, su, so, te, ha. Okay, so the ot part tells me that it's feminine plural, and the segol yod, with that special yod there, tells me it's plural as well, su, so, te, ha. Her, plural, female, horses, which are mares. Okay, so her mares. And then let's add one of the plural pronouns to this feminine plural form. Let's do their, and we'll make it masculine plural. Susot is feminine plural. Then I add a hem. Accent is on the end, way over here. This is open and pretonic. It's got to be long, and it already is. This is open and proprotonic. It would reduce to vocal shava, but we can't because it's historically long, and those are unchangeable. And this is open and proprotonic, but it can't reduce either because shurik is historically long and unchangeable. So I'm done. Su, so, te, hem. 4 syllables. Nice long word. 4 vowels. Su, so, te, hem. And that is there, and the they is masculine, but what they have are plural and feminine. Their mares. All right? Now let's look at one other word here that's in our list, and this is the word baracha. So baracha is the word for blessing. Okay? Now we want to talk about plural blessings. This is feminine singular noun. So how would I make this plural? I change the kametz to ot, right? You remember that? Susa becomes susot. So baracha would become barachot. Okay, so that's our feminine word blessings in the plural. Barachot. Now I want to add pronominal suffixes to this. What do? Well, I do what I just did with susot. I want to say his blessings. Barachot becomes barachotav. Add the kametz yod plus the vav for 3ms pronoun, his plural feminine blessings. All right? Barachotav. Where's my accent? My accent is here. This is the tonic syllable, tav. This is open and pretonic. It must be long, and it already is. This is now I'll just go ahead and put pretonic here. This is open and proprotonic. And you guessed it, what's going to happen to that vowel? It is reducible, and Hebrew reduces open proprotonic syllables if they're changeable to a vocal shavah. I now have two vocal shavahs, and what do I need to see happen? Got to shoot out an I. Okay, so this becomes birkotav. Birkotav, his blessings. Birkotav. What about her blessings? I just changed the av to eha. Okay, so teha. Accent is on the te, ha, on the te. This is open and pretonic. This is open and proprotonic. What will it do? It will reduce to vocal shavah, and I've got two vocal shavahs. What's going to happen to them? They're going to have a fight, and we are going to shoot out an I, and I get birkoteha, her blessings. Okay, so his blessings, her blessings, and so forth. So you can see how all that's going to go down by looking at the columns in your Ross textbook on page 116. In the last segment of the chapter, Ross deals with the issue of pronominal suffixes attached to nouns and the matter of definiteness. Remember, there are certain things that the definiteness of a noun requires in the syntax of Hebrew sentences. That is to say, when nouns are definite and they're modified by an adjective, an attributive adjective, the noun will have the article, and the adjective that modifies it attributively will follow the noun and also have the article. Construct nouns that are definite cannot take the article in the construct state. They have to drop it, but you determine whether it's definite or not based on the second member of the construct chain. So there's things like that we have to consider. And what we need to know here is that when you add a pronominal suffix to any noun, you are, by definition, making it definite. Okay? If I say a horse, I'm not specifying any particular horse there. But if I refer to his horse, and I add the pronominal suffix o on sus to make it suso, that's his horse. That's a peculiar horse. I'm specifying the horse in that case, and so that makes it definite. So when is a noun definite? A noun is made definite in a number of situations. If it has the article, it's definite. If it is a proper noun, the name of a particular person, place, or thing, then it's definite. A bridge is not definite. The Golden Gate Bridge is. And then if it is a noun with a pronominal suffix, then it also will be definite. Okay? Any noun with a pronominal suffix is definite. And that means it has to follow the rules of grammar for definite nouns. And that's what Ross is talking about here. So in number 1, an adjective modifying a suffix noun has the article. Okay? So here basically what we're talking about are attributive adjectives. Okay? If I have an attributive adjective, I want to say not just the great law, but his great law. What do I have to do here? Well, let's take this. It's Torah becomes Torato, right? His law. But I don't want to just say his law. I want to say his great law. I want to modify that definite by virtue of the pronominal suffix, definite noun. Then I have to make the adjective agree in definiteness and gender and number. So it becomes ha-gudolah, right? So Torato, that's feminine singular. Gudolah has to be feminine singular. Torato is definite, so Gudolah has to be definite. And I will mark that with a definite article. Okay? So his great law. That's what we're going to see there. Okay. The second example that Ross shows is that when you have a suffixed noun, okay, So a suffix noun, a noun with a pronominal suffix, it will take the direct object marker. Okay, remember that's the word et. It'll take the direct object marker if it's definite. Okay, and so not just suffix nouns, other sorts of definite nouns like these will take the direct object marker. And so if I have a pronominal suffix on a noun and it's the direct object, it's definite, it needs the direct object marker or the sign of the accusative as well. So our sample sentence here is karat, he cut, and what did he cut? Burrito. And that is not burrito, okay? He cut barit, a covenant, with a holon vav. He cut his covenant. And since his covenant is suffixed, it's definite, I need the direct object marker or the sign of the accusative, which always, well, not always, but quite frequently is used to mark definite direct objects. And finally, the third sort of situation where this matters is in construct chains. Remember, the last member of a construct chain determines the definiteness of the whole thing. All right? Let me give you two examples here, one of which exemplifies what we're talking about, and one which doesn't. We'll start with the one that doesn't. We'll start with the word anshe, and this is a word that's used in the example here. Anshe is the masculine plural construct of men. Anshe, anashim becomes anshe, the men of, and then let's just take the word ear, city. Okay, so men of a city. This is a construct chain. This is thing one. This is thing two. Is thing two definite? Ear. There's no article. There's no pronominal suffix. So this is indefinite, and therefore the first one is indefinite. So that's why I'm not translating it as the men of the city, but simply men of a city. All right? Now let's contrast that with this next example. In this example that I've written, I have another construct chain, same first noun, anshe, men of, but my last member of the construct chain, the absolute one here, is irenu. It's not just a city, but it's a particular group of people's city. This is the first common plural pronominal suffix. It's our city. Now, by applying the pronominal suffix, I have now made this noun definite. And so, the definiteness affects thing one as well. So here, I do get to translate this as the men of our city. Okay? Not some men or just men of our city, but the men of our city. The first noun is definite by virtue of the definiteness of the second noun, made definite via a pronominal suffix. Okay? So those are the sorts of things that we should be paying attention to now that we know that pronominally suffixed nouns are definite.